What a lovely smile and beautiful effervescence to behold. Thank you for your beautiful spirit and for doing this story on the sharing of this world premiere of Loving versus Virginia. We're all so proud of it, and that was the beautiful Flora Hawk singing from one of the arias that happens in the second act after she has her third child, Peggy. And she is a beautiful artist too. And so I'm just delighted to be here, and I really appreciate you all doing this story.
Well, we are delighted to have you and so thankful for your incredible artistry and gifts that you've shared with us over the years, and so incredibly thankful for this amazing work that you're not doing as a director, but also with your foundation. So there's so much to talk about and so little time, but we really thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for that welcome.
Thank you. So, I guess before we even get into a little bit more about the creative process of Loving versus Virginia, tell us what drew you to this beautiful and historic piece, and particularly during such a time in the nation. Why was it important for you to hop on this project?
Thank you so much for that, Misha. It's true that the historical weight of this piece was incredibly important, but I was really drawn to the quiet power of this story, of how a simple act of love can become a catalyst for national change. And Richard and Mildred Loving were not seeking the spotlight. They were not the media darlings that they became, but they just wanted to live in peace. And it was that humility that's paired with their courage that makes this story so timeless and so deeply moving.
Well, I am so excited to see their story brought to life in this world premiere through opera. The arts are such a great way of sharing history, which we know has been, for lack of a better term, under attack here recently. And so tell us how you and these artists are navigating this time, if you will, and bring this historic piece to life, as well as the fun artistic part of being able to bring such a story to the stage, and for the first time.
For the first time, it's going to be a world premiere, and the music is gorgeous. It's written by Damian Jeter, who is native of Virginia, and Jessica Murphy Moo is the librettist. It's again a story that really changed the Constitution.
Right.
And I am so fortunate to be working with a group of artists that are all who all come to this project with their full hearts and completely committed to telling of this story of love as resistance, right? And the fight for justice and the courage that ordinary people can can effectuate every day into our lives. It's a real reminder that real change can often begin in private and intimate spaces, and with people refusing to give up on what matters most to them. And that is what we see in the case of Mildred and Richard Loving. But also to work with, you just heard a little bit of Flora Hawk, to work with people like Flora Hawk and Jonathan Mitchie and, Melody, all of the beautiful people that are part of this project. We feel a great sense of honor and responsibility in the telling of this story. And, for the first time, we want to get it right. We do want to honor the lives of these extraordinary human beings, Richard and Mildred, and what they did in their lives. And so, while it is in some ways a very blank canvas, the responsibility part of it feels huge. But fortunately for us, there's a lot that has been documented around this story So we have it right there. I mean, it's perfect to go into the operatic form because opera is an art form that can really heighten, the emotional intensity of storytelling. And so I feel like it's a perfect medium for that, for what they caused and how they changed the world. But we all come to this, everybody, and I can speak to this. I've been working with them for a few weeks now, and we've had a fair amount of workshopping that had been done previously around it, libretto workshops, several musical workshops, staging workshops around this. So we have all been living with this for a while now, and I can tell you that the level of commitment from everybody from the Adam Turner, who is the conductor and artistic director here, uh, all of the people on the team, on the creative team, the administrative team. There's a real sense of ownership where this story goes. I mean, oftentimes in opera, we're telling the stories of mythological creatures, or perhaps from the 17th and 18th centuries, and these were real people, and some of whom are still alive today. And so, along with that comes a very different, and it's in English,
Yeah.
and is a story that has impacted all of our lives. So this feels different. It feels different going into the telling of a story like this, and we want to make sure that we've got it right. But as I've said, we've got a lot of documentation around us that helps us to tell the story.
Yeah, the archives, when you look into their court cases and things like that, I mean, it's truly incredible and all that they had to overcome. And you talk about the artist's responsibility. What's the job of us as the audience? What's our call to action after seeing a piece like Loving versus Virginia?
Well, first of all, and I do want to encourage people to come because it is beautiful. Oftentimes, I think with new music, people are not sort of sure what they're going to get.
Yes, yes. First
This
call to
is
action, come.
That's the first thing, is that you have to come and see it. And I really, really, really want to encourage people to come. It is worth your time. It will change your life. It will change your heart and make you see things very, very differently. So just the story itself is really powerful. I don't want to tell people what to feel or what I think they should walk away from this piece feeling. I think that I want them to come, first of all, and to come with an open mind, an open heart. And this is a story about love. It's a love story. And the powerful force that love is, and the fight really for justice and equality is an ongoing fight, right? And so I hope that the audiences are inspired by the telling of this story and know that we still have to protect and uplift the rights of others and the freedom to be able to love whom it is that we want to love, right? And love is so incredibly needed, particularly in the times in which we find ourselves in. So I just want people to come and see and to learn, if you don't know about this story, what these two incredibly gentle, quiet, unassuming individuals did. They did not set out to change the Constitution. They just really wanted to love each other and they wanted to live in peace. And this is a story that took 9 years to play out. It was a 9-year battle for them before it went to the US Supreme Court. But they felt really convicted about what it was that they were doing, and they could have both easily have walked away from it. And in some ways their lives would have been maybe smoother, but they refused to walk away from each other. They were completely uh, 100% in love with each other, and they felt that that was not the right of someone else to tell them who they could or could not love, and so they stuck to their guns, and boy, are we ever glad that they did. But that
Absolutely.
up. And it's
Ab-
still relevant. It's a story that's still relevant today. I mean, they married in 58, but the judgment came down in 67, but it's love and equality are still being challenged, right? So the loving story reminds us of what is at stake and when freedom is denied, and
mm,
what's possible when it's reclaimed. And so
Absolutely.
that's why it's an important story now. It's incredibly relevant today still.
Ah, I
And the
love.
singing, the music is gorgeous. The actors, oh my goodness, they are all so incredibly transparent and vulnerable and open and they're a lot of fun to work with too on a daily basis. But everybody that's associated with this project is bringing their A game. Damien Jeter knocked it out of the park with the music. So did Jessica Murphy Moo on this libretto, and much of which has been taken from the original material, from the mouths of Richard and Mildred themselves,
Wow.
and from the arguments in the court case. But primarily, it is a love story.
Mm. Wow. And you said thank goodness for the Lovings and their bravery, but I thank goodness for the artistic team and you who's bringing this to life. Really, it's such a great time to see this story and be reminded of the importance of love as an act of resilience and resistance in and of itself. So,
Look at that.
thank you. Now, I know we don't have a lot of time left, but I must ask you what's going on with your foundation, which I know has been doing really wonderful work. But, again, particularly at a time when arts and arts education and things like that, are on the chopping block in many places. I want to know how we can support what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Well, the first thing that all of your listeners can do is go to Facebook, go to Instagram, LinkedIn, all of those places, and like and follow us. That's the first thing that everybody can do right now. Yes, you can visit our website, the Denyce Graves Foundation. You can visit my website, thedenicegraves.com, and find out what exactly it is that we are doing. We're doing tremendous work. We just got another award for the work that we've been doing in terms of lifting into rightful prominence those great artists, some stories of which we have never heard of before, and those who have contributed greatly to our cultural fabric. We are uplifting the next generation of up and coming and artists and supporting that work. And we model a lot of what we're doing after the work of the great impresario Mary Cardwell Dawson. And Mary Cardwell Dawson wanted to be an opera singer and graduated from the New England Conservatory in 1925 and wanted to build her career as an opera singer. But in 1925, as a Black woman, that wasn't going to happen. So her response to that was, I'll create my own opera house and I'll create my own opportunity, which is what she did, not only for herself, but for so very, very many others. And we look at what she did as an impresario, as the first lady of opera. And we have modeled our three award-winning programs after that work. We have three programs called, one is, they all have the name Voices in it. One is called Shared Voices, and that's our HBCU Conservatory Exchange Program for students, for faculty, and for administration, in which we send each other into the other person's spaces with the mission of sharing together and increasing the classical canon, and entering into that canon not only the works of Mozart and Brahms and Beethoven and Schumann, but also the works of Chevalier Saint George, of Nathaniel Dedd, of William Grant Still, of Adolphus Hale Stork, right? Of Margaret Bonds, of Nathaniel, oh, I said Nathaniel Dedd. So many of now Damien Jeter, right? With Loving versus Virginia. To be able to share and to celebrate the works of all of our great American composers, no matter who they are. So that's their program. That's the Shared Voices program. The Hidden Voices program is about creating works of art that tell the stories of some of those great figures that have been lost, right? So whether that's operas, whether that's song cycles, whether it's documentaries, whether it's children's books, we do a lot of work with calendars, note cards, those kind of things that we've got in museum shops, school shops, the Metropolitan Opera shops, those kinds of places that tell those stories of those great, again, of our great heroes. And then generational voices. Generational voices is for a more accomplished young emerging artist that addresses gaps of vulnerability. So let's say that you're finished with your formal training. What happens next? Let's say you've done your bachelor's and you've done your master's and maybe even you've done a doctorate. Where do you go now? How do you bridge that gap into the world of classical music? How do you get a foot in? And so that is what that program does. And again, all of them have been award-winning programs. We're incredibly proud of them. We just got another award from National Sawdust and the American Academy of Teachers of Singing. And so we're grateful for that. We're grateful for that highlight to be able to show case and spotlight what it is that we're doing, because we believe in this work. It's very, very much needed work. And it's joyful work also for us.
Well, we are excited about it and would love to continue to support. So please keep the Washington Informer aware of what you're up to, and we'll keep a pulse on it so that we can continue to report on all the wonderful things that you're doing. And I just cannot thank you enough for your time. Denyce Graves, what an icon.
Oh,
Any final words? I guess my selfish question that maybe hopefully folks are also wondering, legendary artist, mother, wife, director, foundation owner, you wear all the hats.
it's
What
true. I'm a
How do
super
you do
busy
it?
girl.
Yeah, how do you
Between
do it?
Yeah, between, singing, directing a lot now, and a lot of that work, my singing work, that's been 45 years on the stage already. So a lot of that is transitioning
How when you're
into.
35?
Okay, exactly, exactly. Now a lot of that is transitioning into directing. I'm back at Washington Opera next season for the new production of Tremonisha, of Scott Joplin's Tremonisha. Very, very much looking forward to that. But also, the work that I'm doing as artistic advisor at the Chautauqua Music Festival. Obviously, running the foundation as founder and artistic director. That's a lot between my work at Juilliard and the Peabody Conservatory. Again, a mother, still a wife, still, and all of my cup runneth over is what I can say about that. But I am fed by the work that we're doing. It gives me so much energy. I'm so proud of the team of the Denyce Graves Foundation. They show up every day, hardworking people that bring their whole heart and their whole lived experience to this work, to the work that we're doing, and changing the lives and reshaping the landscape of the classical music industry. So I'm profoundly proud of the work that we're doing.
Well, we are incredibly proud and cheering you all on, and
Thank
so
you.
thankful for your time today, and look forward to seeing Loving versus Virginia at the Virginia Opera
You
House.
will have not only an opportunity with Norfolk, Virginia, but there's another opportunity with Richmond, Virginia, and then again at George Mason University. So the show will
Well,
travel, and then it goes in another season to Minnesota Opera. But we are hoping that once people come and see this, that this is something that they want to produce.
absolutely. Well, you guys are starting a movement. Kudos to you, and congratulations, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you for this moment. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you.